Yeah, how's it going? Today is 29th of May, Wednesday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. In this video, let's take a look at some of the press releases that would be, if anything, let's try to understand the definition first. What is small modular reactors? And from there, we can progress. For people who would like to understand a little bit better entire subject, I can touch on some of the people in the market. I think there's a lady in Sweden that does a lot of work with regards to overall nuclear power. So I can share a link to her channel in just a second. But first, let's try to understand small modular reactors. That would be small modular reactors are a class of small nuclear fusion reactors designed to build in a factory, shipped to operate sites for installation and then used to power buildings or other commercial operations. So that's the gist of it, I guess. Compared to, I think it's four generations, compared to third generation that would be custom made, built on site, massive, which would problem. There would be so many different problems if we keeping it nuclear or reactors is big, price is big. Sometimes it can take a lot of time to manufacture. There's many things, right? Once that been said, let's take a look at some of the press releases. Not that it will be most up-to-date press releases, but I personally believe that will be very important press releases, right? Many reasons, right? Prices and opportunities, right? So since electricity is so expensive, right? And something myself, I see a lot of opportunities currently in the market, but perhaps it's a very hard thing to do, by the way. With that being said, let's progress. Let's show some love to the friends in Sweden. I think she's from Sweden, right? And she does a lot of work with regards to nuclear physics. And she has a channel with a massive following, a lot of videos, a lot of educational videos that would expand on this particular subject. That would be differences and overproduction of energy, nuclear reactors, all these kind of great things. For people who are interested, I would highly recommend in checking it out. Once that been said, let's progress in taking a look at the article, right? We're gonna be taking a look at the article. That would be Royce, right? And a great company. Big fan of what they are doing. But I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I think not that many companies can do it. So I think that's what's happening, right? So if myself or other companies might be interested in getting a contract to do similar things, perhaps they take a look at the market currently in UK and who are the companies who are top at engineering, so to say. Well, I don't know what they're doing. They're building engines, I guess. So that would be easily transferable skills, expertise, knowledge of some of the engineers that they might have on site, right? And that the UK Space Agency backs Rolls-Royce nuclear power for moon exploration, right? So let's delve deeper into this article as well as we can progress in some of the opportunities, but there are so many of those, right? And some of those opportunities, as I mentioned previously, many people perhaps considering would start from a smaller sums and risk and time scales, and so that perhaps 6 months, 10,000, and a small team, 2, 3 people, right? From those contracts progressing to 500 people. Very common sense approach, right? Let's progress within this article. Right. Today announced had secure funding for or from UK Space Agency. Okay. Interesting. If that's where they should be looking to secure funding, but I mean, if they do offer, if UK Space Agency is offering funding, might as well, I guess. As it backs research by Rolls-Royce into, I won't be repeating this word anymore, so that's the name of the company's private business, right? So I can perhaps highlight in this instance, UK Space Agency, since it's not necessarily a for-profit organization, right? Anti-nuclear power could be used to support future moon base for astronauts. Scientists and engineers at this company are working on the micro reactor program to develop technology that will provide power needed for humans to live and will work on the moon. Other aspects missions depend on the power source, the support systems for communications, life support, science explorations. Nuclear power potentially has the potential to dramatically increase the duration of future lunar missions and the scientific value. Okay, the UK Space Agency has announced 2.9 million of new funding for a project which will deliver initial demonstrations of UK lunar model nuclear reactors, which follows initial perhaps 249,000. For smaller teams, it's still a lot of money. Some of those time scales that would be, or time frames, that would be 6 to 9 months, so to say, right? And if you write down the project, you might receive finances. 249,000 is still a lot. So, perhaps for this company, not necessarily. So they might employ 6 or 7, perhaps 9 people, right? Depending on time. And those 9 people would be able to produce case study, right? Study funded by UK Space Agency in 2022, right? So perhaps that would be 6 people, or perhaps a little bit more, 9. So it's still a lot, right? So for some of the companies, perhaps 50,000. Looking to increase interest, so more people perhaps tackle this issue. Since I personally believe perhaps there's only 6 companies, so it should be way more. It should be, I don't know, 20 within UK. So some talented engineers should, or more engineers should be interested in this subject, right? Perhaps this particular way, how they're looking to solve this problem when it comes to energy production. So there's a better ways of producing energy, right? Once that's been said, they are producing and or doing research in this particular way. But to boil an egg, there's a million, and perhaps based on the case study examples, they can tell you, or perhaps they find a better way of doing it. That's what I'm saying, right? I don't know, so I'll bring attention to this particular opportunity, but that shouldn't be discouraging, right? Because I can touch on, if not right now, perhaps some of the future opportunities and overall market. But there isn't so many people in the market. I don't know. I would say that would be Minister of State of Department of Science, Innovation and Technology. I think there's a woman right now that I have tried to reach out to, which is not responding for comment, right? So I don't know. I'll share this article, but perhaps there's a different. What I'm saying, perhaps there's a different person working in this department today. Nuclear space power anticipated to create new skill jobs across UK to support burgeoning space economy. Okay. Rolls-Royce plans to have reactor ready to send to the moon by 2029. Okay, that's if you're asking for depending on finances, how many people they have, right? Sounds ambitious, right? Yeah, nobody in UK haven't landed on the moon, but I don't know. Perhaps they would have reactor, right? But there is a more moving pieces to say the least. Okay, let's forget. Relatively small, lightweight compared to other power systems, nuclear micro reactors should enable continuous power regardless of location, available sunlight, and other environmental conditions, right? Since a lot of people considering perhaps solar panels, all these kind of things, right? So they're addressing that within the statement. Well, let's progress. This company will be, I won't be keep repeating this company's name, right? Will be working alongside variety of collaborations, including the University of Oxford, University of Bangor, University of Brighton, University of Sheffield Advanced Manufacturing Research Center, right? I think that's the main body within the UK who is overseeing the entire market, and when it comes to nuclear, AMRC. And funding means that this company can further strengthen its knowledge and those complex systems which focus on three key features of microreactors. The fuel used to generate heat. Some of the fuel potentially can be reused, right, compared to a third generation. So perhaps they are considering fourth generation, and some of those reactors perhaps could reuse some of the fuel, right? It would be good if they would manage to do that. Let's progress the method of heat transfer and technology to cover the heat into electricity, right? As well as perhaps some of the increased safety features. That could be important, right? Well, they thought about it, but they haven't stated that. Let's forget. The potential applications of this company microreactor technology are wide ranging and could support commercial and or defense use cases in addition to those in space. Okay, defense, I guess, electricity production back on Earth, that's really important. The aim is to create volatility, power, and propulsion capability to multiple markets and operators needed alongside clean, green, and long-term power sources. Quickly, right? So there is different ways of engaging with companies, and I think entire sector, nuclear or energy sector, there are so many different companies. I can think about perhaps five different companies overseeing entire thing, right? With that being said, we can briefly take a look at or touch on potential process, right? So perhaps more people would think about how to begin, how to start, how to solve some of those problems, right? So that would be, or I would be taking a look at Great Britain's nuclear to buy two Hitachi sites for nuclear development. I haven't read this article, but we don't have a lot of time, right? And potentially we're considering and or looking for partners, operators, administrators. Perhaps even that would be an option. And I have seen contact information, so perhaps that would be the people to reach out to. If they have a lot of resources, perhaps they're looking for people or companies who can manage some of these projects. In particular, if it's outside UK's different company looking to operate within UK, right? So I think I have highlighted that previously. Let's see if we can reach out to people highlighted in this article and how we can work together. I will touch on this last point, right? That would be GBM launched competitive process in April 2023 to select the appropriate small modular reactor technologies in the intention of final selection later in 2024 to take two SMR projects to final investment decision by 2029. So let's see if we can reach out to a team. They are looking for perhaps two projects. Europe is currently looking for perhaps UK current or so UK had six companies. Perhaps the UK are gonna be looking to launch additional competition where they're gonna be looking to source another. I would say it's very important to have another 10. I would say it's something that's happening in Europe as well as partners are looking for different competitions and who might be interested in engaging with the teams out there. So let's see if we can reach out to head of stakeholder engagement and let's secure a conference call. If not this process, there's so many different processes, right? But most of the people are very busy, so I don't want to share too much information with the details of these people, right? So many, if you were to reach out to these people, right, you entire process, right? So it could be very hard, but either way, let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.